Welcome everyone to another episode of Slasher Scotty. I am your host Scotty McCoy, and I have a guest on the phone from the original Halloween. That's right, I have Sandy Johnson, and she played Judith Myers, the older sister of Michael Myers, on the phone. Hi Sandy, how you doing?
I am doing great, and thank you so much for having me on your show.
Not a problem. I thank you for agreeing to this. We actually scheduled this interview about what, a couple of months ago, because you were booked for like, I believe was like 3 months or so, and Greg recommended me to you, and I'm like, yes, get me your information. And I'm so glad
Well,
we could do
thank you.
this. Not a
Yeah,
problem.
I stay pretty booked, so I'm glad that I could fit you in.
I'm so glad as well. So the first question I got for you is, how did you get your start into acting?
I got my start in acting as a student in school, middle school. I was in drama and choreography, dance, that sort of thing, and then I got into community theater, started taking acting classes when I still lived in the Hollywood area. Then when I was in Playboy, I started getting, calls for other roles and things. So I kind of came up through school.
Okay, awesome. So what was your audition like for Halloween?
The audition was interesting. It wasn't at a studio or anything. It was actually at a house that I think probably was one of the houses that they were filming in for Halloween because it was in that neighborhood. And there were several people at the table, and they were asking me questions, asking me to read lines. They asked me to scream, which was interesting in a regular neighborhood in the day. So I went through all of that, and then they said, "Okay, well, thank you very much. We'll let you know." And then shortly after, maybe the next day or so, my agency called me and said, "Well, you've been cast as Judith Myers."
Nice. Nice. So, like, we know that obviously, having such an iconic role of Judith Myers that had to change your life. So, how does it affect your personal life? Do, like, people recognize you and all that?
Now or then?
Now,
Talking about
now
now.
yeah.
Well, if I'm at a con, yes.
Okay.
If I'm just walking down the street, no.
Okay.
Luckily not, so I still can have a private life.
Right. So what about back then when after the movie came out and like you would walk down the street? Like did that like was it like bombarded with paparazzi or like fans or anything?
No, because Halloween didn't start out that way. It just started out as another, low budget film,
Right.
and the lines to see it were just normal. There
Mhm.
wasn't any big premiere, anything. We all did go see it together at the theater, but it wasn't, a
Right.
huge deal. And it's taken a long time, I think, for it really to
Yeah.
develop its cult fan base for sure.
Definitely. So, from what I understand, Will Sandin obviously played the role of Michael Myers as a child, but he hasn't done a scene. But from what I understand, like he hasn't done the scene where you were killed. So, if that was the case, who played the role of Michael Myers in that POV scene?
I'm sorry, say that again?
So, we know that Will Sandin was revealed as the actor, playing Michael Myers. He's the one that is seen when you actually
Right,
see him. But was he the one that
right.
actually killed you? And if not, who was it?
Right. No, it wasn't. It wasn't Will because he was just a little child, and at the time they didn't think that was appropriate to have him actually kill me. So Debra Hill, of course, had little tiny hands and was very hands-on. So she was the one that held the knife, picked up the mask, and stabbed me to death.
Nice, nice. How was Deborah Hill? Was she really nice? How was she to work with?
She was very nice. She was friendly, very businesslike, though. I mean, she knew what she wanted. She worked with us to, get the scene just the way they wanted her. Her and Carpenter both were pretty well involved with the rehearsals.
Right. So, what the knife that Deborah used now was that a real knife or was that more of a prop knife?
I believe it was a real knife.
Okay, nice. And one thing I wanted to mention, also, because I seen one of your recent pictures on Facebook, and I believe it is you have like one of the Halloween knives on there. Obviously, it's probably a prop, I would assume, because I actually bought that knife on Amazon because I created it with my production company, a independent film, and we actually have the same exact knife I got off of Amazon. I was like, hey, that knife looks familiar.
Yes. Yeah, for this latest one that I did at the Myers House, North Carolina, there were some real knives involved, but there
Okay.
was also the prop knife from the Halloween '78.
Nice, nice. So, how long were you on set when you were filming your role for Halloween?
I was there one day.
Okay, nice. And it was such a short role, but the role was so iconic. It literally, if that role was not in the movie, there would be no Halloween. Like that is literally the premise of the series, and it's just, and you did it beautifully. It really did. Like you did the role justice. Like I mean, I that role always gives me chills.
Well,
Uh,
thank you.
no
It's
problem.
interesting when I talk to fans about Halloween and how they became fans, horror fans in general,
Hmm.
and a great many of them, that film was, I mean, not only the film, but that opening scene was one of, of major importance to them. But it's also interesting that so many of the fans were very young,
Hmm.
between the ages of 5 and 9,
Yep.
when they first saw Halloween and decided that they were horror fans for life.
Yep.
So I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yep. I was about maybe 8 years old when I saw it for the first time.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep, and right there is proof right there. So, what was your most memorable moment while filming Halloween?
Um, Probably most memorable was probably when I was upstairs
Hmm.
and just kind of humming to myself and brushing my hair, and it was all nice and peaceful and quiet. And then
Hmm.
to turn around and see a knife coming at me, and
Hmm.
all of that whole scene was definitely probably the most memorable.
Nice. Was it like was the scene kind of like was it scary on set even though you knew what was gonna happen? Like was there like or like did you feel the suspense of it coming? Like did you like or like you know what I mean? I don't know how to describe it really.
Yeah, I'd say it was pretty scary because unlike on a normal set, there weren't a whole bunch of people in the room with me
Right.
because it wasn't a big room. The room was dark. It was small. I couldn't really see them until I could hear them downstairs. I could hear them coming up the stairs, around the
Hmm.
corner, and the stuff rolling on the ground and stuff. So, um, yeah, it was pretty creepy because it
Nice.
really did kind of sneak up on me.
Right. Now did Deborah Hill did she have the mask on when she was doing the stabbing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
she picked it up and put it on and was stabbing me.
Nice. Here's a question that actually is another like a bonus question I want to throw in. So when they did the POV through Michael's eyes, obviously it was Deborah's eyes. How did they do that? Was that all done in post production, or did they have a camera like within the mask?
Um, from what I understand, it was done post production.
Okay. Nice. Let's see. So what was the best part about filming Halloween, and what was the worst?
The most fun part was probably the downstairs scene because it was playful and fun, and
Right.
my boyfriend was good looking, and I was young,
Right.
so all of that was fun. Probably the worst part was the fact that the blood pellets that I was smashing into my chest, they stained the skin, and
Mm.
so they had to be scrubbed off in
Ooh.
between takes.
Nice. So you were smashing that into you like yourself?
Yes.
Oh, nice. I'm actually when I go back to watch Halloween, I'm actually going to look for that now to see if I can
Yeah,
notice
I had
anything.
pellets. I had pellets on the inside of my hands, so
Oh,
when I slapped them to my chest, they would break.
Oh, that's awesome. So, what was John Carpenter like as a director?
He was nice. He was he explained well what his vision was and kind of how he wanted it to flow, the mood of the scene.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was very good. I mean, he was right there. He kind of, especially when we're upstairs, both of them were kind of imitating the direction that they wanted me to face, and
Okay.
and where the stabbing would come from and all that. So that we did a lot in the rehearsals themselves.
Nice. So we know that, as we spoke of earlier, that Halloween is such a is a low budget film. But so like being on a low budget film, what was it? What the environment like on set? Was it stressful? Was it easy? Was it was it fast paced or?
It was very fast paced. It wasn't.
Okay.
It wasn't particularly stressful. It was fun actually,
Okay.
and but it was very busy because they were still kind of fixing up the house because the scenes that they had already shot, it was very dilapidated and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So for my scene, it had to look new and lived in.
Right.
So they were still pretty busy doing the last minute touches on the house. So yeah, it was pretty busy while we were rehearsing.
Right. Right. So, did you watch any of the other Halloween movies in the franchise? And if so, which ones did you see? And also, which movie did you like the best, and which one did you like the least?
I did not watch any of the films until 6 or 7 months ago.
Okay.
I decided that I needed to start seeing the others,
Mm-hmm.
and so I watched all of them except for I have not seen Season of the Witch yet,
Okay.
and I have not seen the Rob Zombie ones, and I probably will not because I'm not really into heavy gore.
Yeah.
So I probably will skip on those, and they're not John Carpenter anyway.
Right.
But my favorite one, I really liked them all.
Mm-hmm.
I loved 2, and I loved 2018. I
Mm-hmm.
liked both of those a lot.
Yeah.
And which other one? I liked the one where Jamie Lee was like the head of a private school, I think it was.
Yes, H2O.
Yes, I
Yeah.
liked that one too.
Okay.
But I mean, I liked them all, but those are the ones that kind of stood out to me that there were
Okay.
definite things that I liked about them.
Definitely. I know that I thought Halloween 2 was a perfect sequel to the original. Like it really was. It was great. With
Yes.
Season of the Witch, I know you didn't see that one. I when I first watched it, I didn't really like it because, of course, there's no Michael Myers in it. But
Right.
watching it like over again as an adult and everything, I got into it to the point that I went in open minded, thinking this is its own franchise, it's its own anthology, and then it made me enjoy it a lot more. And now I like it a lot because I look at it as its standalone movie.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the way I'll approach it, obviously, because Michael isn't in it.
Right.
But it has an interesting concept to it, so it sounds like something I would enjoy.
Yes, I know that I like them all too. Like I can watch them all. Like the Rob Zombie ones, they were okay. I mean, I'm not gonna trash them because I can still sit through them and watch them. I can stomach them. But I'm a classic, 70s, 80s baby where I loved watching those movies. Like, I mean, wasn't. I'm not old enough to watch them in theaters because I was born in '89. But I love '80s and '70s slasher movies. Just the
Right.
feel about them, just they feel so classic, vintage. They have that campy, energy to it. That's what I love about them.
Yeah, definitely different from today.
Definitely, definitely. So I'm sure with COVID, conventions have come to a halt. But do you have any conventions or upcoming appearances for fans to meet you? And if so, where?
Well, unfortunately, I had like 7 scheduled for this year, including one in the UK, and they've all canceled.
Sad.
So, for this year, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think most of them will be rescheduled for next year, hopefully.
Okay.
So I will have a very busy time visiting with fans next year in 2021.
Nice.
The event that we had at the Myers House, North Carolina, a few weeks ago, I mean, that was great. It was the only time I got to visit with bands this year, and even though it was limited, because of COVID and stuff, there was still a lot of people there. We had a great time, so I was really happy that at least that one got to go on.
Right. So the last question I got for you is, do you have any upcoming projects or anything like websites, social media, or gigs that you want to promote to our listeners so they can follow you?
I do. I have, of course, I'm on Facebook as The Real Sandy Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
I have Instagram as Unicorn Sandy J, and that name is a name that my agent actually gave me because he looked for me for a really long time, many years, and he said I was like his unicorn, the magical, mythical creature.
Nice.
So he always called me his unicorn. So Unicorn Sandy J is where that comes from. And then I also have a website where people can buy autographed photographs. They can send in things to be signed. They can watch my podcasts and videocasts, etc. And that is, again, unicornsandyj.com.
Awesome. Sounds great. And thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. It's been an honor talking to you. I have been a huge fan of yours since I was 8 years old.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Scotty. I really appreciate you having me on, and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Thank you so much, and I definitely look forward to meeting you one day. That would be a very nice treat for me.
Well, cool. Maybe it'll be next year because I think if all goes well, I'm going to be a lot of places.
That'll be great. Hopefully you'll be close to Maryland or Pennsylvania because I live in Maryland, but I go to Pennsylvania a lot too, so.
All right.
That would be awesome.
That's a definite possibility.
Awesome. Thank you, Sandy. And you have a great rest of your day, and you stay safe.
Thank you. Same to you. Talk
Thank
to you later.
Yep. Bye.